Hello, friends, family, and folks. Thanks for tuning in. Susanna Reen, Inspiration's the theme, and this is Susie on Sundays. So, in my reading today, I was reading about the idea of what is it like to have a vision. And we talk about vision boards and things being manifested these days quite often. And you see people who work really hard at helping people to bring what's bubbling up inside them to the surface and making that a reality in their life. And one thing that I found interesting in my reading today is John is a book in the Bible, and John, his time of visioning, will we say, was about 50 years after the death of Jesus. And what I want to offer to us as a community today is that that guy Jesus really started a movement. And it is interesting to think that 50 years after his passing, someone who had appalled his movement, appalled his political movement, was one of his biggest advocates eventually. And that's John, who we speak of. And John was on a real mission. He was on a real vision, if you will. His vision board was being manifested in that he was helping people to realize that we are part of a bigger whole. And I know it's all COVID these days, but one of the realities is that is one of the beautiful parts about COVID, is that it is something that we are all in together, and none of us are exempt. And with the racism that has plagued us for centuries and is really bubbling to the surface now as well, what we see is a lot of symptoms coming to the surface of a broken unit. And so what is broken about us that we have racism in such vile ways still in 2020? What is broken in us? And so the conversation in the reading today talks about John 50 years after Jesus' death, trying to say, rally around, people. This is about the better of the whole. This isn't about the individual. And I love and find intriguing about that is it's 50 years later, which is amazing. And here I am years later, being reminded of it. And I think a good one for that, being Canadian here in Ontario, Canada, is Terry Fox. His vision and his mission lives on. So that's the sign of a healthy community, when the vision and the mission lives on. And so my question to you is, who's your community, and what's your vision, and what's your mission, and how is it going to live on? And so in that way, I hope it intrigues you to build a portion of your life, a moment, several moments that last years long, or moments that last a moment and take your breath away. But what builds your mission? What fulfills your mission? What's your praxis of the ideals and ethics that you hold dear in your heart? And I did further reading in Elijah this morning, and Elijah asks a woman to give him her last meal instead of giving it to her son, that her oil and flour should never run out thereafter. And it's a story about faith. It's very easy to give someone the crumbs off your table. I give away the crumbs off my table all the time. And why? Because it's easy. I literally feed people, that's true. But I feed people because I have lots of food. I don't have a shortage. It is not in scarcity in my home. What would I do if it was my last meal and there's my son? I can tell you, I don't know if I'd give it to Elijah. And so my question is, what vision do we have in the sense of what we have to give away to that community? And what do we do when what we have to give away to that community, we don't know when the next meal's coming? That's when, this COVID shows us who we are as a people, because we're in crisis and we are in scarcity of the known future. We are all in the unknown. And who does that make us at this time? And I invite us to make a mission out of your own community, be that professional, personal, or even in your own little family. So I'm wondering if we can sing a song today. It'll be on the next video. And it's remain humble and kind, whatever your mission is. And I have a great story about that for another time. Thanks for tuning in. And for this day, this week, this time, this Sunday, how about we think about that? what mission are we building? And I took the chance to write mine down on a piece of birch bark that I found yesterday. And what I wrote on it is, will I walk with those in my care? Will I give them my oil and flour when it's my last bit? So I challenge myself to that. I will for this week. Until you tune in again with Susie on Sunday. Thanks for joining, and please share with those that may have a hungry heart.